Hey there, Sidney here, and today I'm bringing you a bit of a different video. I normally do videos with a script that I'm reading, but today I wanted to share my unfiltered thoughts on the new patch note. This isn't my first reaction to it. I've already been playing it for a day, and I think that gives me a bit of an idea of what changed, what didn't, what's good, what isn't. And let's begin. So don't worry if this video is a bit of a mess, really. It's going to be my thoughts just going through the patch notes. First, heart. So let me pull up the picture here. This is the new heart. Heart now has 3 costs, and the ability doesn't give you permanent power based on anatomy cards. So before, heart used to give you +1 power for each anatomy card. Now it gives you for each science card. And I think that this makes a lot more sense now. First, because Anatomy isn't a deck that should play a lot of cards from it. I know that Avid is trying to make it work now, but before, Anatomy just didn't have really a lot of synergy. You had I, and that's it, and still kinda is just that, now that Heart is gone. But the threshold of 3 energy now is really important. This was already something that could be hit by Newton because of the 0 power, but now it can be hit by Newton and by Ninja. And I think that being hit by Ninja is probably one of the best things about this. Uh, Permanent power is currently a bit underpowered in my opinion. Uh, Before, when you played it at 4 cost, it was a 4/3, and that's already like 1 cost over what you would want to be paying, and you're losing HP in the process. Then it would be a 4/6, and you were still neutral in regards to no, like you are now 3 HP over them in the math there. But a 4/6 is still not worth it. And then at 4/9, then it begins to be worth it because you're still losing HP by doing this. So now the math works out way better. It's a 3/3, then a 3/6, then a 3/9. At 3/6, you are already fine with it, and at 3/9, it's way better. While in the 4 cost version, you were struggling a lot to get the value from it. So I really like the change overall. I think the Heart is going to see play now, mostly because of the science change. Now you can run it in an aggressive deck or a heal deck. Whatever deck that runs science cards, you can run Heart. It's a really good card. And I actually already have a really fun deck with it. Let me see if I can get the screen up. Uh, is it going to load? No, I don't think it's going to load. Okay, the game just died. Let me try and refresh the game on my second monitor while we talk about the other cards. So, coming up, the second change is Pizza. Pizza starts at 3/0 normally, but now with the new change, it's at 3/2. So it has a bit of base power, which is fine. If this was the only change, it would be useless because pizza is going to be burning most of the time. So if it's burning and you have 2 extra power to lose, there isn't really anything happening there. But the actual meat of the change and the pizza toppings, if you will, the effect is totally being reworked. So now, instead of gaining +1 hero attack for each card burning in your hand at the start of the turn, you now get 2 power on those cards. So the cards are going to be losing 1 power because of the burn, but Pizza is going to be giving them +1 extra instead. So it's changing the way the burn works. I'm trying to pull up the game because it's helpful to see the cards, but this is a really good change. Right now, I couldn't test the actual functionality of it. I've been trying to run Pizza a bit, but the big issue is that currently in the code, and this is a bug, it's being reported and Avid's going to fix it, but in the code right now, it's not until played, it's during the turn. So a change like this not being able to be tested is a bit of a sad situation. So I'm not going to be pulling up the cards. I think the game just died and it's not opening again. But the third change and the biggest change this patch, I think, is like bringing a card from the dead is Mars. So first things first, the cost is halved. The power is cut a lot, but that doesn't really matter because the ratio is now not wacky. And the ability is completely revamped. So before, it used to only heal you if you were below 10% HP. And I've made a video before on fusions, and this is a big issue that I have right now with some cards. 10% HP is just way too low. We are talking here like 6, 7, 8, and most like 9 HP. And being below that is achievable with T-Rex if you're using the ability to cut your HP below that and healing with Mars on the same turn, but you are dying if you're doing that. You are holding Mars the whole match just for that to undo one click of your button, and you are still going to be below a certain threshold if you did this, because you are taking the damage from them, you are taking the damage from yourself, and you're only healing back up 25. That's not worth it. But now the change is if you're below 25, restore 15. 15 is lower than 25 by a significant margin. It's the same effect as William Shakespeare, but the threshold being 25 now makes way more sense. And this is another big thing is 3 energy goes with Ninja, and Ninja is really good. So if we are playing a Ninja Heart Mars deck with Brain as the hero, I'm trying to open the game because I really want to share this specific deck. Brain wants to be below 35 HP because that's half of 70, and that's when the ability starts to work. If you take one hit by any hero, you are going to be below 25. Now you have healing. You have a tool that is both aggressive because Ninja is going to be buffing it. It's a planet, so solar system card, so there is the sun that can buff it, depends on how you're building the deck. But this is going to be a really useful card, and you don't even need to run it specifically in self-damage decks. This is a 3-cost card, you're not losing that much over it, and if you're facing a really aggressive deck, now you have a tool that can be used to help you stabilize again. So overall, these 3 changes, chef's kiss. They are really good, they are really fun, and I think that Mars is my favorite one, and I really hope that this style of buff is applied to Jolly Roger specifically, because Jolly Roger is powerful. It's like it has power, but the 10% HP hinders it too much. If it was a smaller buff like 8 power permanently and 25 HP just the same as Mars, you would be liking to play it. But following it up, we have an even cooler change. This one I haven't tested yet. I'm sorry for this. Mount Kilimanjaro is now 8 power and 8 cost, up from 5 cost, 4 power. And the ability changes to give plus 8 cost and plus 4 energy permanently every time that you play it. And this is on a return effect, so this is a really, really big deal. I think that not a lot of people can see how this is going to be a big deal because right now we don't have enough energy on the playtest system right here. We are playing a league rule that has only 12 energy. But in the future, when we have bigger energy rules, this is going to be such a good card. The rate of 8 cost, 8 power is good. It's fine. But the rate of 12 cost, 16 power is really good. If you can get this out once or twice, you're really happy with it. That's like half of a player's health. So I haven't tested this change, but I think it's a really good change. And let me just share the deck that I've been playing a lot. This is the Brain deck. So it has Heart, has Mars, and it has Ninja. So this could change a lot. This is just a proof of concept right now, but it's really fun and really powerful. And also let me just show visually, where is it? Is it not here? I have a deck ready with all of the change cards. Now you get to see all of my cards. Okay, here. Mount Kilimanjaro looks great. 8-8, 8-4. And we didn't share how Pizza looks. This is how it looks. And how Mars looks at 3-1 with effect. Keep going, we have Saturn. I talked to Tobes earlier, Avid Tobes, why they changed Saturn, and they said that it was being underplayed. I'm not sure how much like from my experience, how much that is like actually happening because the bots have a lot of decks with Saturn. So I think that players might not be choosing to run Saturn, and I assume that that's a symptom from how good Wickerman is. Wickerman heals 3 every time, every turn, so it's way more health than Saturn. If you draw Saturn at the start of the game, you're going to be healing a max of, let's say, I think it's 18 or I think it's 18 HP, but you haven't taken damage on turn 1, so it's going to be like 16 HP at most. But this is 2 free uses of Persephone with no added cost, you're just holding a card. So I think that Saturn is a really good card. I don't really see the need to change it, but I'm going to be just hopeful because Siren isn't being played, as in like taken out of your hand. So maybe this buff isn't really that important. But it's good to see that they. Ooh, my fan just turned on for no reason. Spooky. It's good that Avid's giving some love to the card because they think that it's being underplayed, and they can go back and change this at any time. I don't think that a cost buff is going to do anything for the card. If you're playing this from hand, it's because you're already kind of screwed. So it's good that this is getting a little bit of love. Basking Shark is getting a bit of a rework of sorts. Now, instead of being able to hit either player's hand, it hits a random opponent's card. It's fine. I don't think that this is giving enough of an advantage for you to run this card still. Maybe when sharks become more useful in the future, this is a good hold card. It's good that it's not that variant anymore. The variance in power was bad, so any card that has either player is being changed, and I like that. So this is fine. I don't think it's going to see play. It's really expensive. This could do with the Saturn treatment of losing some energy, because this is one of the cards that you don't mind playing because the buff is just -1 attack or -2 at most if it doesn't get played for 2 turns. So it's a fine change. I don't mind the variance going away. It's good for the health of the game. It's good for player feedback. You are not, sorry, player sentiment is the word I wanted to say. You are not going to be looking at the card and being, but if it hits me, it's so bad. And that's good. It's good that they are acknowledging that this was bad design in the first place, and they are changing it. That's really good. So following it up, we have nitrogen. I need to show you how nitrogen looks right now. this is not the same card that it used to be. This is a whole different card. They picked up nitrogen, they threw it away, and this is what came out of it. Old nitrogen had 7 energy, 6 power when played. If it was played adjacent to any rare card, so rare synergy, it would lose 1 attack apparently and give you 3 hero attack. So this was a 7 cost, 8 power card usually, which is fine. It's not that good. But now it has 6 energy, 2 power. For every rare card played adjacent to this, it gains +4 attack this turn. This is now a 6/10, up from a 7/8. Sorry, for a 7/10? 7/8. 7/8. And sure, it's more powerful now and it might see a lot more play, but the most important part here is 2 power. 2 power gets hit by Newton. And Newton is the best science energy of this small moment that we are playing right now. So this being able to be hit by Newton is great. I really like the cards from the set that nitrogen is in, the periodic table. And the rares from it are good, and they are good enough to be played. So if nitrogen is play and a Newton deck, and I think that most of the rares are hit by Newton, this is going to be a good change. I hope that nitrogen sees play now. And I'm not too sure the old design made a lot of sense. Like you're trading permanent power for power now on a condition, so bit of a weird design. I really like the new one. Now we have Carbon. Carbon is getting a change that I really wanted. I haven't made any feedback threads about this specific thing, but I think that for Avid, variance is a good thing, but too much of it is bad. We already have some variance in every match with the wild turns, and the deck shuffling mechanics are also a lot of variance. Having added variance in how a card's ability is going to behave is not very good. So we have Carbon, which used to give 4 random common cards in either player's hand +2 power. So here's the thing. This, if your opponent had no commons, could hit your whole hand. So 4 cards, the Carbon is an epic, so it doesn't buff itself. But the other 4 cards in your hand, if they were common, it could buff. So Carbon could work similar to the Shark. The Shark right now buffs both players' hands, so it's a symmetric effect. Carbon is a random symmetric effect. As much as this could buff your whole hand, so you could get +8 power, because it's until played, it would also be able to buff your opponent's whole hand. So if it was happening in a mirror match, Carbon could just ruin the whole deck, the whole game. Now they fixed the issue by just making it always the 2 random common cards in hand. It's a lot less variance, but it's also a lot less power. So before it could be 6, I need to do math, 6/13. Now it's always going to be a 6/9 power. It's good, it's okay. I don't like the variance here, but I'm not sure if 2 is the correct number for this. The shark, I need to show what shark I'm talking about, I think. The shark that I'm talking about is this Sand Tiger Shark. Sand Tiger Shark buffs all common cards by 4 for the turn. So that means that if your opponent has a normal deck, they probably aren't taking advantage of this that much. This can give you 12 extra power easily, 12 extra attack, while Carbon just gives you 4. But it's until played, you can bank it, it's fine. I think that it might need like a little bit of a cost reduction or extra targets or extra power even. Coming up next we have Zhang, which I'm kind of bummed out that I'm seeing it get nerfed. I never really thought about it being that powerful, but like it's powerful, but I never looked at it as being the actual reason I'm losing, which is a lot of player sentiment, right? Usually player sentiment is going to look at the card that is actively ending the game rather than the one that is slowly chipping away. So uh, Zong is probably not the card that most players are going to be looking, but if Avid has enough data to show that it wasn't in a healthy state, then sure, a nerf is good. It's just 2 HP. I'm still a bit worried that Zong is getting hit and Baphomet isn't. Baphomet has the same uh, ability to deal 10 damage, but it has a slightly harder condition, and it's cheaper and more powerful. So I'm worried that the legendary pirate, which is the realistically the only the only pirate card that is seeing play right now, is getting hit. But it's a almost insignificant change. It's just 2 HP. It's a turn tick. Sure, it's just curbing away a bit of power from the no attacks deck. Sure. After that, we have N Bonnie, which is 8/6 when played with Calico Jack, force your opponent to attack their turn. They remove the condition for Calico Jack, which is really good. Now you can run it in Cleopatra, you can run it in Lion, any shield-based deck, and that's a really good idea. N Bonnie wasn't being played because Calico Jack is a really expensive card. You needed to fork over 15 energy just to be able to play the combo. But now you can just run it in any deck that wants to force the opponent to attack. And it's good that this is forcing your opponent to attack without you having to attack as well. A big issue that you might face when playing with Cleopatra and a bunch of cards like Tong or Colosseum and Hades, that usually either you have to there's like a big condition like Hades, or you have to attack with it like Tong and Colosseum. So N Bonnie doesn't force you attack, so you can hold it, you can think about what you're going to do it. It's way better than just Tong, and the payoff is the extra energy that you need to fork over to be able to play this, but that's fine. And with that, we also have Calico Jack. Calico Jack remains the same power, the same ability, and now it just loses the condition of having to be played with N Bonnie. If played, if both players attack, your opponent loses 5 HP. This is a really good change, and I really hope that this is played now. There are a lot of ways to force your opponent to attack, and one of them is way, way better than any other card because it's a buff to Blackbeard, and we're going to be taking a look at it right up next in a bit. But Calico Jack is really good. It's interesting because it also triggers with Avicenna, so this can be a 6/6, which is much, much more playable. So now that you have abilities from heroes that can force your opponent to attack, this is a really easy target to use it on, and it deals a lot of damage. 5 HP is a lot. So I'm happy with it. I think that Anne Bonnie is really powerful, and I think that Calico Jack is really, really powerful now. Not having to play these together is really good. And the power level before of having to play this together wasn't even comparable to some of the combos that we have in the game right now, like Crystal Ball and John D, which is 10 damage if played together for really cheap. So this makes a lot of sense. Maybe in the future, if Avid wants to, they can make this have like an extra effect if played together, but I like the simplicity of it, just removing the condition. Now we have Apollo. This is a card that a lot of people are going to have because it's part of Cleopatra's missions. And before, it didn't do anything. It was purely RNG and it wasn't a permanent change to the game. So if it's turn 1 and you draw it, you would gain 3 energy per turn. So this would be just 9 energy for free, which is good. But at the same time, how often are you drawing the card that you want on turn one? And if you don't draw it, it's a dead card in hand. It's an 8 cost 7 power. It's not that good, right? You see that? And if it was turn 9 and you manage to draw it in, keep in mind that the game needs to last until turn 9. And even worse, you need to purposefully manipulate your curve to be able to draw this on turn 9 by playing it on turn 5, I think. Yeah. So this was bad. Was really bad legendary. But now it's actually a really good one. Sorry, epic. It's a really good epic. Now, when draw, if it's an odd turn, you gain 3 energy. Straight up. Just a good card. If it's an even turn, you gain 3 hero attack. So this is a really powerful card. It's either going to be a 5/7 or an 8/10. And both of those rates are really good for a card. And even if you don't play it to get the effect again, it's going to get buffed in hand. It's going to have done the effect already. It's a good card. I really like it. Following it up, we have the Eye. Eye used to be 2/2, and on return, if it was played between 2 anatomy cards, it would make your opponent's cost +1 permanent. So the card opposite to it would cost +1 energy permanently. Now it's a 5/4, and this is very significant. This is a big change, and now you can't play with Newton. So anytime that a card says 4 instead of 3, you get sad. And on return now, for every enemy card that you play this turn, the card opposite costs +1 energy permanently. So the thing is, now baseline, it's already doing this. Because the Eye itself is an anatomy card. So baseline, this is a 5 cost, 4 power. Your opponent's card in front of it costs +1 energy permanently. And that's big. That's already very big. Sorry if I'm stuttering a bit. It's already been almost 30 minutes that I've been talking nonstop. But this is really big because energy is really tight right now on the way that we are playing. So if energy keeps being tight in the future, the same way that it's right now, this is very significant. If you are playing a full anatomy deck, and now, I'll be honest, I think that anatomy is worth playing just because of how you can run it with the Eye, and if you play heart, eye, and hands on the same turn, that's just a hypothetical. The opposite card is dead. There's no way that your opponent's playing 3 extra costs for a normal card, right? So if you are playing an enemy now, you have a big payoff. And this is repeatable. If you're cycling the Eye with another card, you're doing this every turn. You're making your opponent's cost +2, +2, +2, +3, or baseline just +1 is already tricky to deal with. So I really like the change. I'm worried that it's going to spawn some toxic decks, but I'm hopeful that because the condition is to play with anatomy, and anatomy doesn't really have that much wiggle room right now to be played together, I'm excited to see how it goes. Now for the big deal of the patch, I think that a lot of people are really excited about this change. A complete rework to Wickerman, and a rework that makes a lot more sense now. Before, it was an H12 that on draw gave you 3 HP, and if you basically played on the same turn, it was the highest power card in the game. That was way too good for a common. Now, Wickerman is a strictly heal card, and it has a trade-off. You need to be able to play 3 cards the same turn that you draw it, and the other 2 cards are going to be losing 1 power. So Wickerman is not repeatable anymore. It's +5 HP on the turn that you draw it in. That's it. And you're losing 2 power in your hand. which is a really fine change. I like it because now it's still a powerful card, it's still unique, it's still something that you run in decks, but now it has its own niche. It's not just shove it anywhere and it works. It's a good card. And now for the two hero changes that we got. Balufei, 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 Cleopatra's 10 HP more. I think that this is one of the big deals of the set. Um, Honestly, I have no idea why it was 60 HP, and I wonder if I can find it easily. But it used to be 40. Like I'm not sure why Avid thought that Cleopatra was this bad, sorry, this good, that they needed to nerf it that much. But 60 HP was going to the right place, but Lion just outscaled it. And now Cleopatra has 7 HP, which is the pool of every other hero. There are some that are better than this, but 7 is the minimum right now. And 10 shield is fine. Now her health pool is going to be around the same as Lion, so Cleopatra is going to be a more consistent version of Lion. So if you want to play a deck that has more, doesn't need to run shields, but has more utility cards, you can run Cleopatra. You can run healing. You can run power cards. You can run uh, good cards like Tongue or Colosseum that force your opponent to attack. The new N Bonnie. While on Lion, you need to run a lot of shields to be able to scale the ability. So now they both have their own niches, which is good. Lion isn't just strictly better because of the HP change. And to cap it all off, we have Blackbeard. Blackbeard is insane. I need to show this. Look at this. Force both players to attack this turn and your cards in hand game plus. So the same thing, but now instead of you having to attack on your own, your opponent also attacks. This is just insane. This can break a lot of decks. A lot of players are hoarding attack. If you're running a more defensive deck or a healing based deck, you don't need to run force attack cards. You can just use cards that give you charge instead. And those charges are getting converted into 6 extra damage instead of just being a underpowered card that makes your opponent attack. So Blackbeard is really good. I'm a bit afraid of how good it's going to be. I think that there's a lot of ways that this could backfire, but I'm sure that Avid has thought of that, right, Topes? Oh god. Blackbeard is really good. Test Blackbeard in some decks like heal-based decks and attack-based decks, but also just any aggressive deck. This is really disruptive. I think that with this change, a card like Jane, I think it's Jane Austen, right? I need to check. Let me. Jane. So a card like Jane Austen isn't going to be run that much anymore, because how often are you not going to attack with so many ways to be forced to attack this? This isn't going to trigger anymore. So now I think that the next thing that we need to clamor for is a buff to Jane Austen. So maybe uh, it starts at 12 and reduces by 3 for every time that your heroes attack this game. Something like that. But yeah, this was the patch. I'm sure that you liked it a lot as well. I'm really happy with it. I am really, really happy, actually. I should phrase it that way. Most of the changes are really good. Mars is insanely good now. The Eye is really good now. And Bonnie, there's a lot of tools that just weren't considered part of the game before, and now they are going to be everywhere. You're going to be able to see way more decks show up because of these changes, and that's a really good, healthy change. Most of these are buffs, and when they aren't buffs, they are reworks. So I hope that Avid keeps doing this instead of just tuning down a number or two. They take a whole look at the structure of the card and just go, okay, we need to change this to be different. How can we do this? So we have the Wicker Man, for example, which is just chef's kiss. It's a good change. And they can reprint it later as a legendary, I don't know. I like the patch notes. I'm happy if you watched it. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I'm sorry for the amount of times that I said this video because I'm stuttering. I just got home from a really long bus ride. So see you later. Give a like if you liked. Subscribe and join the game, I guess. It's really fun. You should try it. See ya.